Did you know that last year alone, 47% of medical practices failed? But what if I told you that the practices that succeeded weren't necessarily the ones with the most money or experience? And after building my own successful medical practices, I'm going to share the best tips today. Like many of you, I thought my medical expertise was enough. But just like when I built my first gaming PC, I quickly learned that having all the parts doesn't really mean that you know how to put them together. And in healthcare, the stakes are much higher than a broken motherboard. Here's what they don't teach you in school. Over 82% of practices lose money in year one. Most banks reject medical practice loans. The average startup cost is in the 6 figures, but here's where it gets interesting. So, I want you to think about building your medical practice just like Thanos did in collecting the Infinity Stones, right? So we're going to start with the Power Stone. This is where you create your business plan. You master it. You get funding acquisition from banks or the SBA. Strategic location power. Where are you going to build your practice? Next, we're grasping for the Space Stone, which is your legal framework. Next, you're going to be looking at insurance negotiation, compliances, looking at your insurance, right? And that's the malpractice insurance. And let's talk about a little something that keeps us all up at night, and that is your malpractice insurance, okay? Here are the key elements we're going to go over with and the different types, right? So you can do claims made or occurrence-based, and you can pick tail coverages. Look at your coverage limits that vary state by state, right? Unless you're telehealth only, then I will look at that as well. Next is the hunt for the reality stone, right? Some of these may not apply to you if you're telehealth only, so hang in there until the end, okay? You're going to assemble your team, get your own Avengers, right? You're going to get your own equipment, your arsenal. And next is your technology integration, which might be the most important part. And just like building the ultimate gaming rig, right? Your practice needs the right tech stacks, which is your essential systems, which is your EMR selection and setup, practice management software, and your patient portal and acquisitions, and then cybersecurity, okay? Next, as you're picking out your EMR, you're going to think about what integrations do I want? Do I want to interface with labs directly with Quest and LabCorp? Do I want to e-prescribe out of my EMR? And you want to think about, am I going to take payments out of my EMR? These are things that you have to ask yourself, and there are no right or wrong answers. And then you also want to think, do I want to have telehealth capabilities? And this is very important for you that are doing just telehealth, okay? Next, we're going to call up Mr. Dr. Strange and ask him for the time stone, which is our efficiency systems, right? We want to look at our scheduling optimization, our patient flow mastery. What happens when they come into our clinic and they see us and they leave? That's what I mean by flow. Next is your resource management, is how do I create and be efficient in my resources, which is I don't have time enough to do this. I'm not efficient. I don't know what my workflow is. What I'm trying to say about efficiency and time management. Thinking about efficiency and time management, this is a big pain point that a lot of my consulting clients really deal with. And it's one of the reasons why they don't start a practice or their own business. And I'm here to tell you there's so many tools and resources out there, especially with the advent of AI and ChatGPT. So stay tuned for more videos on that, okay? Next up, we have the Mind Stone, which is your strategic planning, okay? We're going to be talking about marketing here, and this is where most practices fail. And if you build it, they won't come. Let's break down this patient acquisition strategy. What does this even mean? Is you've got to be online. You have to have a digital presence, which includes your website, your social media account and management, your online reputation, which is Google My Business, and then your patient reviews. You need to have those really connected, and you need to control those. And you need to reach out to your community, develop a referral network and development, and creating these partnerships, especially if you're a specialist. Next, you need to have growth strategies, forecasting, and all those different things like that, okay? Just digging into the community outreach a bit more, I can't tell you how many times to where I've attended an event or volunteered, and I've just been reached out to randomly by strangers and said, hey, I really enjoy your work here at this event. How do I become a patient? It's just that easy. And you're asking yourself, well, why is that? And that's a great question. And what that is that people buy from people that they like, right? And so you can have the best product in the world, but if no one likes you or you're not making an impact on the community, why would they buy from you who doesn't do anything versus the person that volunteers, active member of the community, creates scholarships. These are things that I really want you to think about and commit down the line. Maybe not initially, but as part of your marketing strategy. Keep that in your back pocket for me, okay, guys? And last and certainly not least is our soul stone. It's your practice culture. I may even say that this is the most important part of your practice, because if you keep your mission and your values at the forefront of your practice, then that's what develops you and your brand and what people know you for. So this is going to start with the patient experience. The patient experience is so important because they need to understand what it is that you do. What are your policies? What are your cancellations? What does that look like? Do you take insurance? Do you take Blue Cross? You need to be able to effectively communicate what you do and how you do it. And you need to create a seamless and smooth experience from when they click on that website until they walk into your door. You need to take away every single barrier that these patients are experiencing on their way to you in your practice. The less barriers these patients have, the more likely they are to become your patient, and that way you can take care of them, okay? Next is your practice values. So what is it that your practice values, right? Are you a direct primary care practice into where patients can get in same day, next day? Are you a practice that values technology and those integrations? Are you an LGBTQ hormone practice? So think about what it is that you value as a practice and create a culture around that of either inclusion, of technology, of forward thinking, of all these things. You want to make sure that that branding and that values come out in your marketing, which you'll understand later why it's very important, okay? And just like Thanos, once you have all 6 stones, you then have the power to transform healthcare reality. Now here's the twist. That changes really everything. The most successful practices I've seen aren't the ones with the fanciest equipment. They're the ones who understand one fundamental truth. A medical practice isn't just a business. It's more of a community hub for healing and realizing changes in every decision that you make. This is where you impact and improve the community's health. So here's your action plan, guys. Download our practice launch checklist, join the Medpreneurs Roundtable, subscribe here for weekly strategies, and you'll be well on your way to being a successful private practice provider. Say that 5 times fast, right? And remember, just like leveling up in your favorite video game, building a practice is about progression, not perfection. And that way you don't develop what I call the analysis paralysis, all right? And may the force of entrepreneurship be with you.